words election fraud have been thrown around way too many times in the past few years without any serious evidence to back up those claims. But tonight, an election for mayor has just been thrown out by a judge who concluded that fraud did impact a recent vote and ordered a new election. And it was based on absentee ballots. Happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where a state Superior Court judge has just ordered a new election between incumbent Mayor Joe Ganim and his mayoral primary opponent, John Gomes, after Gomes successfully argued that he was the victim of absentee ballot fraud. Stunning video put out by the Gomes campaign appeared to show a Bridgeport city employee and local Democratic Party official walking up to a drop box in the early hours of the morning of September 5th and making multiple deposits of absentee ballots. You can see a woman who the Gomes campaign identifies as Bridgeport City Hall employee Wanda Jeter Patiki walking up to the drop box and placing multiple ballots inside. Then a few seconds later, she comes back, does it again. The Gomes campaign posted this on social media as part of a 3-minute compilation showing irregularities in the vote. That woman was questioned during a court hearing challenging the election results and pleaded the fifth.
Were you paid for any of your work on the Ganim campaign?
I would object at this point.
And it wasn't just her. The Gomes campaign played in court 9 different people making 24 drops of apparently multiple ballots into absentee ballot boxes. In his ruling, Connecticut State Superior Court Judge William Clark said he found the evidence from the Gomes campaign credible, said there was enough evidence to call the entire election into question. Quote, "In this case, there is evidence of partisans taking possession and harvesting ballots to engage in bulk drops of the absentee ballots into drop boxes. The number of ballots at issue, when considering the corroborating evidence of the video and documentary evidence, brings the reliability of the primary into serious doubt." Judge Clark has ordered the two sides and city election officials to come together on a new date for a revote by November 17th, but there's all sorts of details there. This is a wild story. Let's bring in Bill Bloss. He is the attorney for Bridgeport mayoral candidate John Gomes. Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. All right, so first of all, just take us through what happened and what the judge has found here.
Well, this was probably the clearest case of ballot harvesting that I think has been proven really in the United States. There was repeated video with around 20 different instances of campaign officials or others dropping multiple absentee ballots into the drop boxes in a couple of locations. Clearly, under Connecticut law, these were people that were not entitled legally to possess absentee ballots. There was pretty strong evidence that there was a coordinated effort to try to collect absentee ballots from voters. And of course, under our law, they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to, this is basically, absentee ballots are supposed to have the same sanctity as the voting booth. And just as you couldn't bring in one of these people into the voting booth, you shouldn't be handing them your absentee ballot.
Yeah. But
it was a pretty jarring case, and the video, Judge Clark called it shocking. I think most people would share that.
So what happens now? I mean, there's going to be an election on the 7th of November, right? With the current mayor's name on the ballot, correct?
Correct, and also John Gomes, my client, is also going to be on the ballot on a minor party line, on the independent party line. So this is the alternative. There are several alternatives that could happen here. If John Gomes wins on Tuesday, then the case is over. If Mayor Ganim wins on Tuesday, then there would be a new primary sometime, probably in December, I would guess, and then a new election sometime in January if Gomes wins the primary. So it's it's not an ideal situation by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a situation that is caused by massive absentee ballot misconduct. That's the reason we're here. That's the reason we're in this situation.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.